Gasoline is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, and the following sponsors. I'm Michael Curson, producer, creator of Gasoline. Hope you enjoy.
Well, have a look at this absolutely pristine HT Holden Premier here, owned by Peter Thompson. This thing is absolutely immaculate, and it's factory sea mist green. Absolutely gorgeous. But don't let the 186 badges fool you. This engine bay is packed full of 331 stroked 308 Holden. It's a pretty strong engine too. Big camshaft, single plane manifold, 750 Holly on it. It makes about 430 horsepower. It's backed by a power glide with a whopping big 4800 converter and a 9-inch down the rear end with 411s. He bought this car in very, very down condition and restored it from the ground up. The thing that impresses me most is it took him only 12 months to build from start to finish. Every night out in the shed, just flat out working on this car. A massive effort from Peter and a fantastic job. I love the interior in this thing too. It's been trimmed to absolutely factory standard condition. And a lovely little touch with the Monaro steering wheel on it. You'd hardly even know this thing is the banger that it is. It looks totally factory stock on the outside, the real sleeper look. Beautiful car, be a fun ride too. Well, look at what I've found here. Something a little bit different, a bit unique. This beautiful 68 Ford Torino, owned by Chris White here. Mate, magnificent looking car. Tell us about the history of it and how it got to where it is today.
Well, Glennie, I bought it back in '98 for 12.5 grand, and it's pretty much bought it as it is, as you can see it now. Just a lot of interior work and a fair bit of engine work, to be honest. And it's it's probably nearly insured for nearly 50,000 now. It's just a fun car to drive, and it's certainly a great eye-opener, that's for sure.
It's a fantastic investment, mate. Like any of these classic or muscle cars are. They're better than money in the bank, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What power plants have got under the hood?
390, mate. It's got a 390 big block under there, 4-speed manual, so it's she's a
4-speed manual, great.
Oh yeah, she's a rocket. It's good work.
Did they have many different engine options that were available in the Torinos?
Yeah, they did. In the the 68, I'm pretty sure it didn't, but as you move along in the 69, you could get the 429 Cobra Jet engine in them, which is that was about 7 litres to the gallon, so that just chewed the juice like you wouldn't believe. But 390s, it's just like any car really. The sort of quieter that you drive it, the less fuel it goes through, and the more you give it heaps, the more fuel you're going to run through it.
And how does it perform, the 390? Is it a fairly torquey thing? Because 390 is still a bit of engine capacity in it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. It's not too bad. It's not like you wouldn't put it up there with the best of them, but it's just a nice cruising car, and when you want to give it a bit, and it's certainly more than happy to let you do so.
Well, mate, I'd be more than happy to own it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Good on you, mate. That's great. No, it's a good car. It's a great car. I love it.
Thanks for talking to us, Chris.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
And don't forget, viewers, to look up the all-new Shannons Club. Shannons Club is a huge site. It's like a hub for enthusiasts. You jump on there, you can start your own garage, put pictures of your cars up there, stories of your cars, videos, you name it. You'll see people like myself on there, Jim Richards, click onto our garages and check out some of our machines and some of our past machines. It's an incredible site, it's growing every day, so get onto it and have a ball. Well, when it comes to American muscle, these 67 Camaros are definitely up there on the Richter scale. This beautiful Camaro here is owned by Phil Buttigieg. Under the hood is a big bad 454, makes just over 600 horsepower. It only needs to turn it to 6,000 RPM. They don't need to rev that hard. They make a mountain of torque. It's backed by a turbo 400 trans with a 3 grand stall and a 9-inch rear end with 3.5 gears in it. It's a perfect streeter, but if you want to take it out to the strip, it'll certainly light up the tyres all the way down the track, and that's what we like to hear. A really good all-round combination. Now, the interesting thing about this car too, you'll notice it's got a bit of retro happening. Old school muscle on the outside, even those early old school centre lines, which I really love, they look the part on these cars. But interior wise, it's got a 95 Camaro dash and seats. It makes this thing a really unique vehicle and a great ride on the street. We'll have a look at what I've found. This absolutely beautiful John Goss special. Dave Marshall here owns it. Mate, what a car. Tell us about it.
It's not too much to tell. It is a factory John Goss special. It hasn't got the original running gear. It's got a 2.5 grand stall converted C4 automatic. Standard Borg Warner rear end, not a 9-inch, and a 351 Cleveland. It's a bit of a cruiser, nothing too crazy. Yeah, turns a lot of heads, that's for sure.
And you have to be pretty happy with the location of the show here, being a local from Phillip Island.
I didn't have to drive too far, although I did go all the way to Bass and come back just to drive the car. So yeah, it's a good turnout, massive turnout. Everyone's impressed. Just need more room, don't we, to park them all.
Well, it's for a good cause, and it just shows how much the car community gets behind these sort of events and help out people in the general public like Beau Vernon.
Massive too, yeah. And of course, being football and country communities, they're always huge. So yeah, great turnout.
And do you drive the car much at all, mate?
I do. I go as many shows as I can. I've had a lot of work done on it this week. It's got a new high-rise inlet manifold. I've had a lot of work on the valves, and it's got solid lifters, and it's running a bit rough at the moment. Needs a bit more work, but yeah, I drive it as much as I can. Yeah, I love it, and the kids love it, don't they? We sell it. Can we get the noisy car out? Yeah, it's great. And it turns heads, that's for sure. You don't see any of them anymore, do you? So.
It's a super rare car, mate, and thanks so much for talking to us. Beautiful.
Thank you. Love the show. Take it easy. Thank you.
You too, mate.
See ya.
All right, Holden fans, I've found an absolutely spectacular Ute here, owned by Colin Foley. Beautiful looking car, mate.
Thanks.
Tell us all about it.
Well, it started out as a simple build and just got further out of hand as it went, and just 7 years later, this is the finished product, so I'm really happy with it. It's easy to drive, easy to buy parts for. It's all stock standard Holden bits and just really simple, that's all.
There's no 179 under the bonnet of this thing either.
No, there's 2 4-cylinders actually.
In a V. Tell us about the power plant.
Well, it was really easy. I bought a wreck car and just transferred everything over, and it was a changeover to the 5.7s with Holden, and they had a lot of the 5 litres spare.
So it's a VS 5 litre, is that right, or VT?
Yeah, VS.
Yep.
And I just bought it straight from Holden in the box, really cheap, and then sold the other V8 and saved some money along the way. So no, it was really good.
Fantastic. And the engine's just in standard EFI format?
Everything's stock standard on it.
Plenty of punch anyway.
Well, you don't need any more. It's ridiculous going too far. But all the brakes, gearbox, diff, everything's stock standard VN. except for the motor, and just go and buy bits if I want it. Easy.
It's great. But power to weight should be pretty stout because these things are pretty light, aren't they, the EHs?
It flies. If I really wanted to, it flies. And as I say, you don't need anything else. The brakes stop it like a rock, and it's just really good. Easy.
And tell us about the restoration of the car. What sort of state did you buy the car in?
Well, it was supposed to have been done. And when I got it home, I pulled all the bits out, and the floor had been taped and then sprayed with sound deadener. And
wow.
And it just got worse, and I had to replace the whole floor, the bottom floor and then the top floor, and wheel tubs, and you go through 6 sets of guards to get a decent set. And, they're the sort of things you do. But 2.5 years on the body and 7 years all up, it's all worth it in the long run. It's a great car.
Good stuff, mate. Well, thanks for talking to us. Magnificent vehicle. It's a credit to you, mate.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See ya.
Well, we're with James Grom here in his beautiful XP Falcon, mate. Great car. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's a old 65 coupe with a mild 302 in it that I've put in there, and slowly working on the drivetrain. Bought it this original green colour. Wasn't sold on the colour when I bought it, but it's grown over me. Had it for I think 12 years now. So just slowly tinkering over the winters, doing a little bit in piece here and there and off the road, and trying to keep it on the road for summers, having a good time and cruising and coming to events like this and loving it.
A real classic, these XP coupes, aren't they? And I mean, we would have loved to have had the V8 version that the US got, but at the end of the day, they were still an awesome-looking car, even with the 6-cylinder base engine. But you've transplanted that 8 in there, mate. She must be a great thing to drive.
Oh, absolutely, great cruising car, and that's exactly what I wanted. Something to take on the road and have fun times, not get in too much trouble. So absolutely love it, and love the 2-door as well. I've always been a fan of the coupes, so always thought that was the perfect car for me.
Well, thanks for talking to us, James. Beautiful car. Really like it, mate.
Yep, thank you very much for having a look at it.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Not the perfect day for a convertible, but the sun is starting to peek through the clouds. Greg Angus owns this 68 Camaro here, and doesn't it look absolutely superb? He's popped the roof down, he's going to be cruising home soon and enjoying that air running through his hair. Beautiful in this magnificent red. Under the hood sports a mild 350. Greg tells me he's about to pop some aluminium AFR heads on it and a roller camshaft too, just to get a little bit more mumbo from this power plant. It sports a turbo 350 trans and the ever so reliable 12-bolt rear end. Once again, this Camaro runs the old school centerline style wheels. They really do look the part on these muscle cars. This car actually came out of California, exactly as it looks now with a few upgrades. You get some pretty good cars over in that dry continent. I've got to say, I've had the opportunity to do a bit of cruising around in my dad's Mustang convertible lately, and there's no better experience than rolling that roof down and enjoying the sunshine. It's very, very different. You don't need 500 horsepower in a convertible. You just need to be able to cruise and enjoy that wind through your hair. You're gonna love it. Well, here we are back at Rocket Industries once again, so let's go inside and take a look around. Now, whilst Aeroflow Performance products are famous for their performance products, they also have a great range of workshop equipment as well. This here is a favourite of mine, this quick lift vehicle jack. Fantastic when you've got vehicles in confined spaces. Basically, these jacks go under each corner of the car. The two arms here fit in between each wheel. It's then jacked up, locked in, and you can push the vehicle around to any position you want. Really good when you've got a tight space like a shed and you've got a bunch of cars in there that you need to fit in and squeeze in. Or if you've got a locked diff, like a spool or a locker, and it's very hard to push that car around, these jacks are fantastic for shifting those things around. Also, items like this engine trolley here as well. Great if you want to shift the engine into a confined space in your garage or workshop and move that thing around. We all know engines weigh quite a bit, so these trolleys are very handy. They're suitable for early small block Chev, LS-based Chevrolet engines, also Windsor and Cleveland in the Ford variety as well. So really, really handy. If you're going to rebuild an engine, this sort of thing here comes in very handy. This heavy-duty 560 kilogram engine stand. If you want to put a big block on it or something like that, no problems at all. It'll support all of that weight. Soon to become available in the ever so famous Aeroflow black colour scheme as well. And check this out, this little 3-tier tool trolley here with a lockable top drawer. These things come in really handy. If you're working on a vehicle and you want somewhere to put your parts, you sit everything in the top there or in the shelves, you've got a space here for tools, you can shift it around the vehicle to wherever you're working on it, comes in very handy. Also really smooth operation too with heavy duty nylon wheels and roller bearings. A must for anyone's home garage or workshop. To download your free copy of the Rocket Industries and Aeroflow Performance Parts catalogues, go to the sponsor section at the Gasolene website. Click on the links and download away. With over 650 combined pages of performance parts and accessories, you're sure to find everything you need for your car.
Stay tuned for more Gasolene.
The creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind.
We're very fortunate here at the Head Stud to be involved with some very interesting projects. Still on the historic and the vintage line, we're now contemplating producing an aluminium 4-cylinder Austin Healey cylinder head. This head here we've prepared by sectioning through right through the middle, and then we've clamped it back together for the original size of the cylinder head. Then we'll proceed to modify the intake port and the exhaust port, take it to a pattern maker and show them where we need to build up the inside or the internal components of the cylinder head, like the water jackets, so we can modify them to race spec, or they can be run as a road car style of cylinder head. On the aluminium version, we will alter the combustion chamber quite significantly to get rid of hot spotting like in this area here, and we will increase the breathing around the intake valve. The whole thing is designed to get more air into the combustion chamber so the explosion is more powerful. Okay, looking inside the cylinder head, we can see areas, particularly around the edge of the port where the pushrod goes, that need to be beefed up or altered. And on the other side we can see where short turn radius areas need to be built up inside the water jacket, and any other area where we want to extract metal from around the bowl to get airflow in and also airflow out. So any modification we do to this now, we re-alter the water jacket area, send it off to a pattern maker, and then that can be produced as a long-lasting aluminium style cylinder head. Whilst we're on the nostalgic scene, we'll move back a little bit earlier to the very first Holden cylinder head, which is called, likeably, the grey motor Holden cylinder head. This one has oversized intake and exhaust valves. We've reworked the combustion chamber in this area here. We've undercut around the intake valve to get breathing at very low valve lift. And we've reworked the ports. Now, that's not extremely large in the port, but you've got to consider that the grey motors had a lot of porosity in them, a lot of core shift, and now, unfortunately, they have a lot of rust in them as well, so we have to be a little bit conservative with the size of the ports. That's the style of valve that we fit to it. Dished, reprofiled on the back. And that style of cylinder head will produce airflow up to around 180 horsepower. And when you consider that when they were first brought out, they made, I think, conservatively 75 horsepower, that's a fair old increase. It will certainly smarten up the bottom end and any FJ or FE Holden that you want to put it into. Just to build a little bit of reliability into these old engines, we fit them with a chrome moly valve spring retainer, a machined, hardened valve lock, and a set of long-lasting dual valve springs. That engine there would comfortably rev to 8,000 RPM for the rest of its life, if the bottom end would handle it. Now we are onto a subject which is very close to my own heart. These are an aluminium red motor cylinder head produced by Phil Irving, and it was named the Yellow Terra Irving cylinder head. And I personally manufactured 13 of these cylinder heads when I worked at Perfect Tune, all done on a Bridgeport milling machine. As you can see, they have round 45-degree intake port, a round exhaust port, a combustion chamber similar to a 308 cylinder head, but the rest of it really is just red motor configuration. Just normal type screw-in studs. It had a special rocker cover, aluminium bronze valve guides, hardened exhaust seats, and the rest of it was hand finished. The manufacturing of these cylinder heads was ceased in around 1982. I know because that's when I left Perfect Tune, and that was when the last cylinder head was ever manufactured. We're now contemplating reconstructing these cylinder heads and recasting them for a nostalgic purpose. Great cylinder head, in the day made about 325 horsepower on a red motor with a simple triple Weber conversion, set of pipes and this cylinder head.
We're the Gasolene twins. Hope you're enjoying the show.
We'll talk about a wild HR Holden. Viewers, I've found the one. Owned by Brett Edwards here, and it's packed full of big block Chevy. Brett, great car, mate. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's got a 402 big block, turbo 350, 9-inch, just all your basic running gear. Convo Pros, 15 by 5s, I think, and 8.5s. And all the rest pretty much standard. Yeah, it's just all pretty basic.
And did you do all the work on the car yourself?
The paint job I didn't, but the rest of it I did.
And how did you go shoehorning that big block in there? It's a beautiful fit.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard really, just had to move a couple of things around, and extractors were the biggest job making them. But yeah, it was pretty easy really.
I notice you've got a electric water pump on the front of the engine as well to try and help with a little bit of clearance.
Yeah, plus I got one on my other car and it keeps it a lot cooler. Especially when it gets warm, you just turn it off for a few minutes and off you go again.
Good stuff. Any idea of power figures on the engine and torque?
It's about 430 horse and it's about 450 foot-pounds of torque.
So it's a real good stump puller, good all-round street engine.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's not too bad on fuel too.
I notice you've got the baby seat in the back there, mate, so you obviously use the car.
Yeah, the kids are normally with us, but we left them home today. Didn't want them getting in all the mud.
Good stuff, mate. Well, beautiful car, and thanks for talking to us, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Found a really nice XR Falcon here. We're here with Frank Pace. It's actually his son's car, but he helped on the build. Tell us all about it, mate.
All right, yeah, we bought it about 12 months ago from the other side of Eltham. It was a real clean shell, that's why we bought it. We just redid all the running gear, got all the trim redone, Mark at Dynamic Upholstery in Baronia did the trim. Awesome job. Real happy with his work. Yeah, the motor, it's run 347, weld heads, scat crank, scat rods, PaveTech stud girdle, a few bits and pieces from Rocket. Yeah, they helped us out pretty well. Yeah, happy with their service, it was good. Yeah, it's run a Victor Junior manifold, 850 HP Ultra Poly, pacemaker pipes, and yeah, puts about 550 at the fly. It's an awesome piece, goes well.
And trans and diff?
Yeah, trans run the C9 with a shift kit, run the B&M shifter, 9-inch, got 31 spline billet axles, full spool, 3.9 gears. Yeah, hooks up good.
And I believe you've only just got the car going, is that right?
Yeah, it's only been on the road 2 weeks, so yeah, this was a good run out here today. It's sorted out. We're going to put on the rollers hopefully next week, and then next outing will be at Winton in September. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Fantastic, mate. Sounds like fun. Great car, great colour. Love the package. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
And remember, viewers, if you want to see past Gasoline episodes, go to shannons.com.au. Click on the Gasoline link and enjoy. And remember, this is a whole new season of Gasoline with new episodes every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m, Australia-wide.
Gasoline is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, and the following sponsors. I'm Michael Curson, producer, creator of Gasoline. Hope you enjoy.